Welcome to the Soul Ashraya podcast, a weekly bhakti podcast. We will seek the shelter and wisdom of our dear Lord Krishna with Shastra, prayer, and conversation. I'm your host, Bhakti Jake, and I am joined with my good friend and teacher, Balaram Bhakti Das. Balaram, where the heck are you? Are you in Philadelphia?
Hi, Krishna. Yes, I'm in Philadelphia, joined with my wonderful friends, Dr. Paul, Dr. and Sam. Stick your head in here, Sam.
Hi, Krishna.
We are in Philadelphia. Paul, why don't you tell us what ashram?
The Fairmount Bhakti House.
The Fairmount Bhakti House, Ki Jai. So, Paul and I go way back. Very good friends. We have the privilege of knowing each other before we got into Bhakti.
Nice.
And then we both came to the movement and have been great sources of inspiration, encouragement for each other. We're happy to have both of them here.
Nice. Well, I have some business to attend to, so I'm gonna leave you guys to it, but I'll be like around. I will be in the space. I gotta go do some stuff. But so I'm gonna leave it to you and do your thing. So let me mute my thing and take off and
To ask you real quick to make sure, because I think you actually marked your book. The paragraph we're on, it is clearly stated in the Bhagavad Gita 29. Do you have your book? Yes, no, maybe. You're muted. You can unmute yourself.
totally 100% professional production. So what were you asking?
What paragraph we're on? At bottom of page 29, is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
Okay. All right, thanks, Prabhu.
Yes, probably a little quick on that mute button. Sorry about that, buddy. Hare Krishna.
Okay, so we'll start with invocation prayers. You guys can repeat the first one. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Jnanamrantasya Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshtarne Pancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhevcha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama. Right. So we are reading from the Krishna book by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And we are in the second chapter, prayers by the demigods for Lord Krishna in the womb. So first just ask the two of you, have you read through the Krishna book?
Not all of it.
Parts of it?
I think we've read this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, so we are, prayers for the demigod, by the demigods for Lord Krishna. So we're hearing all of these very interesting, very philosophical, not really what you think of when you hear the word prayers, but they are communicating with the Lord, and they're kind of like affirming truths about bhakti right now. So they're kind of establishing the supremacy of bhakti. And so right now they're talking about impersonal liberation. So we'll just dive right in here. You want to start reading a couple paragraphs? And at any time, comments or questions or qualms, anything? So
It's clearly stated. Yes. It is clearly stated in the Bhagavad Gita that to realize Brahman identification is not all. Brahman identification may help one become joyful without material attachment or detachment and to achieve the platform of equanimity. But after this stage, one has to take to devotional service. When one takes to devotional service after being elevated to the platform of Brahman realization, he is then admitted into the spiritual kingdom for permanent residence in association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the result of devotional service. Those who are devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead never fall down like the impersonalists. Even if the devotees fall down, they remain affectionately attached to their Lord. They can meet all kinds of obstacles on the path of devotional service, and freely, without any fear, they can surmount such obstacles. Because of their surrender, they are certain that Krishna will always protect them. As it is promised by Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, my devotees are never vanquished. Our dear Lord, the demigods continued, you have appeared in your original eternal form of unalloyed goodness for the welfare of all living entities within this material world. Taking advantage of your appearance, all of them can now very easily understand the nature and form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Persons who belong to the four divisions of the social order, the brahmacharis, grihastas, vanaprasts, and sannyasis, can all take advantage of your appearance. Dear Lord, husband of the goddess of fortune, devotees who are dovetailed in your service do not fall down from their high position like the impersonalists. Being protected by you, the devotees are able to traverse over the heads of many of Maya's commanders-in-chief, who can always put stumbling blocks on the path of liberation. Dear Lord, you appear in your eternal transcendental form for the benefit of the living entities, so that they can see you face to face and offer their worshipful sacrifices by ritualistic performances of the Vedas, mystic meditation, and devotional service as recommended in the scriptures. Dear Lord, if you did not appear in your eternal transcendental form, full of bliss and knowledge, a form which can eradicate all kinds of speculative ignorance about your position, then all people would simply speculate about you according to their respective modes of material nature. The appearance of Krishna is the answer to all imaginative.
all right, let's stop there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's some really nice points in there. Yeah, this is so basically what they're saying, or this one point, if you didn't appear in this form of Krishna, people would simply speculate, and that taking advantage of your appearance, all living entities within this world can now very easily understand the nature and form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and that all peoples, right, doesn't matter what position you have in society, you can take advantage of this. So what I'm getting from this is we're getting real knowledge of spiritual worlds, like real knowledge of who God is. And that's something that is just so completely beyond this world that you're left either, well, really speculating. So if you don't have the knowledge, then you have no idea. Like if like you have roommates here, and like if I just, like when I first came here, I see this person here, I know you, and it's only through my association with you that I can know anything about them. Otherwise, I'm left with just, okay, the guy's got a beard. Maybe he, I don't know, listens to rock music. He's got, shirt on or whatever. I'm just totally guessing, right? Or I just think, there's no one even there upstairs. And then when someone comes down, it's like, well, who are you? Like, where did you come from? So Krishna is like that as well. People think there's no God, there's nothing beyond this world. This is all just projection of consciousness that comes from the interaction of these elements, totally random. Or maybe there is some higher order, and that's just us, that we're God, somehow or other, we've put ourselves, supreme consciousness, under illusion, which doesn't make any sense. But what are we left with if we are trying to live a spiritual life? What can you actually have for your spiritual life? So the demigods, these very exalted beings in the universe, are saying that your coming down here is benefiting us. We're able to understand the absolute truth because you're showing us directly who you are, and that specifically is your purpose as Krishna, because he has other avatars as well, other instances where he descends. But this particular avatar, this particular instance, appearance of personality of Godhead, is for us to understand his nature, his form, so that we can see you face to face. And that, everything that we do, we can offer to you and then be protected by you. We're able to, that's a separate, I'll touch back on that later. Falling down is a big point, but this also, the first paragraph is kind of wrapping up this section that the last few episodes, I think we've been discussing on impersonal realization. That, this one statement, the impersonalists simply think that they are liberated, but actually they have no feeling for the personality of Godhead, because they think that when Krishna comes in the material world, he accepts a material body. So they overlook the transcendental body of Krishna. Again, it means they don't have any information who this person is, that he's actually coming from the spiritual world. And that's the supreme person, supreme soul. And so we're just projecting our own understandings about what is God or what is spirit. And because they are neglecting Krishna, they're neglecting the actual personality of Godhead, they don't have any spiritual standing. Right? So this is bhakti. It's we're forming a relationship with Krishna. That's only something you can do with a person, right? So we have a relationship, that's something that we can build on. If all I'm doing is just speculating about you, let's say, like we don't ever do anything together. So like, I know Paul exists, but he's great. I think about him, but I don't ever call him, or if I were to try to summon him into my life, we don't have any standing as a relationship. Does that make sense? Right? Is it kind of tying in? So, however, on the other hand, when one takes a devotional service, then he's admitted into the spiritual kingdom for permanent residence in association with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the result of devotional service. And that those devotees never fall down like the impersonalists. So this is a incredible point. It's actually a pretty deep philosophical subject. I gave a class on it just the other day in Prabhupada Village. We were reading from the section of Srimad Bhagavatam on Jai and Vijay, flowing from Vaikuntha. You've heard that story? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's, that discussion, is living entity able to fall down from the kingdom of God? Because there's all of these statements in the Bhagavad Gita that are saying just what demigods are saying here, that, once you're there, you never come back down here. So the point is that you can come back. So hopefully that is enough to explain the subjects, that the Bhagavad Gita is saying once you go to the kingdom of God, you never come back. But then there's also
saying that you came from there. So how did you come from there if you can't leave?
Yeah. So what's your understanding on
that? I know that Prabhupada didn't really comment too much on that when he would be asked about it. He would give the analogy of like your friend pushed you into a hole and now you have a rope, which is the mantra. Like the mantra's our rope back there. So he would say that, like, you're not worried about who pushed you into the hole. You're worried about getting out of the hole. That's what I heard, was that he never really commented too much on the fall of the jiva. That was always one of those things that he kind of like.
He did make some very to the point comments on it though. And I'll give you a hint that it kind of gives the whole thing, but independence.
So we independently left on our own.
Yeah, that we have, as sparks of spirit, we are parts and parcels of Krishna, so we have the same qualities as God, but in minute, very, very small quantity. So because God is supremely independent, we have minute independence. So the point is, we have free will. It's not that you can't, Krishna's not going to restrict you. If you want to come here, you can come here. But it's like, why would you? But somehow or other, because we have proclivity to, just like a child's, to rebel and be independent. And we can choose to neglect Krishna in favor of having our own experience. So like that, he was asked, there was a room conversation, I believe, Srila Prabhupada, where his disciples were asking him, how can it be in the pure world where nobody, infallible living entities, nobody's making mistakes. How can it be? It seems contradictory that they're making a mistake coming here. Prabhupada said it's very simple. It's because we have minute independence. So, but what is being stated here and what the Bhagavatam is emphasizing is that they remain affectionately attached to their Lord when those who have taken to devotional service. So it means there comes a point when you practicing bhakti that deep affection awakens, and that is really the whole process. That's the goal, and that's the process. Is affection. It's you actually fall in love, and when you're in love with someone, there's no question of where do we stand with each other, right? It's like if you're not actually in love and someone kind of offends you, you say, oh, it's over. You know, we're not a thing anymore. But if two people are in love and like a third person sees them arguing, it's like, oh, are they like not in love anymore? It's like, no, you don't understand. They're beyond respect and disrespect. It looks like they're disrespecting each other, but that's for granted that they respect each other. You know, so Prabhupada explains in the purport to some of these verses that discrepancies may be there because we're all very unique, right? And so we might have misunderstandings or whatnot. So the four Kumaras and Jai and Vijay, there's a discrepancy there. You know, they had a misunderstanding, and so there was some offense taken and some curses thrown. But the fact that Jai and Vijay were completely sold out to the service of God was beyond question. And so that's the message that Krishna in the form of Narayan is giving, is that it might seem like they're falling down, but because of our affection for one another, that's impossible. So this is the thing that we're learning here is our perspective. We have no idea of the nature of the spiritual world. It is totally inconceivable to us. But the fact is, there is a world where love reigns supreme. Like, it's a fact. In this world, it's not the case. You know, we say, I love you. It's like, you know, the Prabhu was saying in class today, you know, the child's like, very small child will tell his mother, I love you. Do you want to say it?
What did he say? He said, a very small child will say, I love you, and the parent will say, oh, like, I love you too. And then as the child gets older, like each stage of life, the parent will respond with, oh, what girl do you want to marry? Oh, like what property? How much money do you want? Like, oh, like what property do you need me to sign for? Like all these things. Like there's always like some type of like,
I know what you're up to.
I know what you're up to kind of deal. It's not just like a pure love. It's like you want something from me. I love you. It's not.
Yeah, there's some condition.
Some type of condition.
Yeah. So that's the nature of love in this world, is we say I love you, but the meaning changes all the time. You know, so we're not actually experiencing true love. Where, you know, the child's, you know, infancy, he's very attached to the affection of the mother, and he doesn't know anything else than mother's love. It's his whole world. So like that, you know, the Bible says as well that we need to become like children to enter the kingdom of God. It's not just poetry, it's like a fact. You know, you have to give up these independent pursuits that qualify what we call adulthood, right? Like this thing of, no, I'm gonna pursue my own thing and then I'll be happy, you know. And you'll either be in the mode of passion, really going for it and thinking that you're making it and thinking this is my thing, or you won't be able to do anything and you're thinking that you're enjoying, but the world is kind of going by you. And either way, there will come a point where all of that will get taken away, right? And the things that we're investing in this world, thinking I need to hold out for this, you know, I need to put these conditions on my relationships, and if mom gives me my allowance, then I love my mom, and if she says no, you know, I'm not giving you money for that, and we say,
you're so mean, I hate you.
Slam the door. Yeah, I'm not talking to you again. It's like, is the love over? Whereas the spiritual world, the same thing could happen. The gopis say the same thing to Krishna. They slam the door on Krishna. It's like, Krishna, you're a rascal, But when they slam the door, what is their consciousness? Is their consciousness like, I'm going to actually separate myself from this person? No, they're meditating even deeper on Krishna. Their love is always getting deeper because they know that Krishna is all that there is. There's no getting away from him. And because that's love, and they're in love. And when you're in love, there's no conditions. So you're able to totally be yourself. And even if you mess up, he's saying, this is what they're saying here. The devotees, even if the devotees fall down, they remain affectionately attached to their Lord. And therefore they can meet all kinds of obstacles on the path. And freely, without any fear, they can surmount such obstacles. Right? That was like the first point that he made was children, at like the end of a long weekend, all the adults are thinking, how am I going to get home? Who's going to get me a ride? Like, someone able to go to the store and get bread? Who's going to, take care of these very down-to-earth practical necessities? Like, someone's got to do it. It's got to get done. But the child, it's like Fig is here, and he's just like carefree playing. He's taking advantage of us. Stealing our food. But he has no such concerns. So that's fearlessness.
Because they have complete faith in their parents, and like that we should have complete faith in Krishna.
Yes. So this is bhakti. Bhakti is the path of fearlessness, where we're getting to know our eternal friend. And when we know him, we know without any shred of doubt that this is the one. We're all looking for the one, for the person that will fulfill all of our desires in this world, who will meet all of our expectations, even exceed them, give us back more and more. But the fact is that no one in this world is able to give that to us, even if we have the best setup. You're going to get let down, because those kind of expectations, that's not the domain of love, that's the domain of business. It's a business transaction. Whereas love is saying, I just want to give myself to you more and more for eternity, and I don't need anything in return, because I'm satisfied with the act of giving, because that's the nature of my soul. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I am the recipient of such love. I am the recipient of all sacrifice, all offerings, everything that you as a living entity have to give. I'm the one who tastes that. And it may appear that other beings are tasting that and reciprocating with you, but actually all results are given by me. So the wise who know this, aham sarvasya prabhavo mata sarvam pravartate, they perfectly engage in my devotional service. Right? Eight. So, and so how do we engage in that? How do we get linked in? Again, by association. You're here, the other people that live here, because I know you. You can tell me about them. We can learn about people that otherwise we don't have access to. So Krishna is in the spiritual world. We don't have access to him. We don't know who this person is, how wonderful this person is, how enchanting this person is. And where is that other point? Of that when one takes devotional service after being elevated to the platform of Brahman realization, he is then admitted into the spiritual kingdom. It's a nice point as well, that first you come to the mode of goodness, then you insert into spiritual mode, the kingdom of God. Is that you have to be on the platform of spirit in order to understand spirit, in order to understand the supreme spirit of God. You have to have the eyes to see, so to speak. And so Bhakti Yoga at the same time accomplishes the means of coming to the spiritual platform and the end of engaging in association with the Supreme Personality. Okay, Jai. So we are.
Everyone. Everyone imagines the form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead according to his mode of material nature. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the Lord is the oldest person. Therefore, a section of religionists image that God must be very old, and therefore they depict a form of the Lord as a very old man. But in the same Brahma Samhita, that is contradicted. Although he is the oldest of all living entities, he has his eternal form as a fresh youth. The exact words used in this connection in Srimad Bhagavatam are Vijnanam, Ajna, Vidampamajanam. Vijnanam means transcendental knowledge of the Supreme Personality of God. Vijnanam is also experienced knowledge. Transcendental knowledge has to be accepted by the descending process of disciplic succession, as Brahma presents the knowledge of Krishna in the Brahma Samhita. The Brahma Samhita is Vijnanam, as realized by Brahma's transcendental experience, and in that way he has presented the form and the pastimes of Krishna in the transcendental abode. This knowledge is Ajna Vidha Pamajanam. That way can smash all kinds of speculation and ignorance. People are imagining the form of the Lord. Sometimes he has no form, and sometimes he has form, according to their different imaginations. But the presentation of Krishna in the Brahma Samhita is Vijnanam, scientific, experienced knowledge given by Lord Brahma and accepted by Lord Chaitanya. There is no doubt about it. Krishna's form, Krishna's flute, Krishna's color, everything is reality. Here it is said that the Vijnanam is always defeating all kinds of speculative knowledge. Therefore, without your appearing as Krishna, as you are, neither Ajnana, Vidhapamajanam, destruction of the nescience of speculative knowledge, nor Vijnanam would be realized. In other words, your appearance will vanquish the ignorance of speculative knowledge and establish the real experienced knowledge of authorities like Lord Brahma. Men influenced by the three modes of material nature imagine their own God according to the modes of material nature. In this way, God is presented in various ways, but your appearance will establish what is the real form of God. No, I want to hear you say something about it, Prabhu.
Well, that's that one point about imagining God as the oldest. Such.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think, like how it's saying really depends on what, like, where you are is kind of how you would imagine God to be. I think that's a really interesting point because when you think about God, even in like Christianity, like there really is no description of God, and people just assume he's just like this old, like they're saying, like he's old, like white beard, it's just that's just kind of the first thing that people think of.
He's up there somewhere.
Big beard, calling the shots. I'm 100 years old, right? But like for us, we have the descriptions and we can know that Krishna is eternally youthful, and even if you're just learning that, like maybe people might think of Krishna as this like eternal like old person. They don't really know if they're never given a description, which most people aren't, like unless you directly ask or you read or find out from someone, by mouth. But I think that's like such a sweet thing that Krishna is eternally youthful, and no matter like which form of Krishna that you love, there's all different types of attachments to each different
feature of God or what quality of God you're attracted to, that form of the Lord will manifest to you more and more.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, you know, they mentioned there like seeing him face to face.
Yeah.
You know, and something I was reflecting on recently, how at first, actually, Srimati Radharani's parents' day, because Radharani is the energy of the personality of Godhead. Mm-hmm. That's the feminine counterpart, which is energy to the energetic source. And so Krishna, being the energetic source, the father, the fountainhead, the way that we relate to him is through his energy. Of course, there's always a direct connection with the energetic source, but we're seeing him through our ability to see him comes through the energy, comes through the female goddess. And so what we're experiencing here in this world is also the goddess, but it's the perverted material reflection. Mm-hmm. And that actually what we're doing in this world is we're trying to enjoy eternal youth. We're actually all interested in eternal pleasure and to enjoy the pleasures of youthfulness. And so everything in this society is advertising, come enjoy youthfulness here, buy this cream here, you know, enjoy these women here. You know,
spend your money here.
Spend your money here, you'll get the enjoyment of youth, you know, eat this particular food, you'll live longer. Everything is trying to advertise you live longer, live to the fullest, enjoy your senses, maximize your sensual enjoyment. Why? Because we're looking for Krishna. Actually, this is the real thing. We're all looking for Krishna. We're all looking for eternal enjoyment of sensual pleasure. And we're looking for it in the energy, in God's feminine energy. It's just what it is. But we don't understand that when we have this exploitative mentality, this enjoying spirit of let me just enjoy this energy, if you look at it very objectively, it's very perverted. It's like, you know, just going up to a woman and just seizing her and saying, I'm going to enjoy you now. Is that how you...
Even that...
even no, it doesn't work.
Even the gaze, if you think about like how they like the male gaze, right? When you start talking about that, you're looking at a woman like she's like a piece of meat, like something to enjoy. Or same vice versa for women to men. Like a lot of people have that mentality, like what you go out and you're like checking somebody out for their outward, their bodily appearance, but like really that fades. Like we're not youthful. Yeah. We're not youthful forever. We're not Krishna. You know, like all that really matters is like the personality and like what's inside of you, your soul. Your soul, the jiva, lives forever. And you know, like the pervert, like that's right. Like the perversion of that is like, oh, it's the body. Like how can I enjoy it and then move on, like go to other bodies or whatever. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So this is a immature relationship that we have with the feminine energy of reality, actually. And it, of course, is manifesting. For a man, it manifests in the form of a woman. For a woman, it manifests in the form of a man. We're trying to enjoy God's energy in this spirit of exploitation. And so God's energy takes that form and we have that relationship, and he allows us to have that relationship, but we don't ever come in contact with him. And because we're trying to take his place as the enjoyer. And so, you know, you there's some enjoyment there, but as you're saying, youthfulness ends, because that's actually, you know, we're looking for enjoyment of youthfulness, but when we're not connecting with God, we're not getting, you know, and so we have to, you know, go through these experiences that are very painful and sources of misery for us. This body is dukkha, it's giver of miseries. So we have to experience birth, death, disease, old age. But as you're saying, like what really matters, like what is the actual substance of love? What is something very real, something mature, something wonderful, something valuable, is when you have real character, you have maturity in how to relate with feminine energy.
And those are like the ways that you can have those opulences of Krishna. Like you can have kindness, compassion, like empathy, patience. Like those are the type of opulences of Krishna that you can actually have and hold on to, because those build, like you just said, they build your character as a person or as a soul, and that carries like lifetime.
Definitely. And so how we develop that is through service. So serving Sri Krishna, what we're doing, actually, we're always serving something. And so we're always serving some energy. So when we're trying to enjoy, we're trying to exploit youthful energy and pleasure, we actually give ourselves. I don't know if I admit, I think I did mention this on another episode, Padma 9 Prabhu's class in Tucson, is okay, you want to enjoy in this world, buy this cosmetic. What do? You have to give your body to the cosmetic. You're, isn't it? Isn't it like that? Like you can't get the effect of the cosmetic unless you give your body to it. And you can't get the effect of video game for anyone that might do that, or like anime, that Balaram Shakti might watch. You have to actually give your attention to it. You have to give your mind to that thing. It's like we were talking past week about families now. Like this friend I was traveling with was visiting someone, and he grew up in the Hare Krishna movement, so this was like very foreign to him. He went to this house, and they're all watching a movie. The mom is on Amazon. The daughter is on Instagram. Son is watching YouTube. They're all on their phones. And the dad was on YouTube. The son was playing video games. Right? So they're all on their own little device. A movie was playing on the screen, but none of them were even watching it. So it's like they weren't giving any of their attention to the movie, what to speak of to each other. So they weren't actually connecting.
It's like 3 times removed.
3 times
Yeah,
removed,
right, yeah.
right? And he's sitting there like, what are we doing? It's like, what are we actually doing? So in order to receive love, meaning the activity of the soul, for the activity of the soul to be there, you have to give yourself to another soul, right? Where, the material experience, you're giving your body, your mind, your intelligence to something of material energy, and you're getting the qualities of that thing, which is not Satchidananda, which is not eternal youthfulness. It's temporary pleasure only. And then behind that veneer of pleasure is an ocean of misery. If you think you're going to be happy doing drugs and having illicit sex, there's going to be
No.
point in your life real soon where you realize that you're in a whole heap of trouble.
Danger, danger. Yes. Hey, Prabhu, I just wanted to much for carrying out the show today. I don't know how long you want to go, but I've got to do some things. And it seems like you guys are in the groove too, but I got to get going.
How long have we been going?
Almost an hour.
Really? Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. I hate to.
Okay. No, that's fine.
Sounded like you guys were talking about a little bit about Santa Claus and and some other stuff. Some guy in the sky with a white beard.
Oh. Yeah, so maybe we can try to wrap that point up.
Yeah.
Because that's, and again, I think we've discussed before, but it's worth going back over, is connecting. We're all looking for eternal youthfulness, and Krishna consciousness is directly revealing the nature, thank you, of how we're going to find that. It's not just a post-dated check that, take our word for it, you'll enjoy if you give your life to this old man in the sky, right? He's got a beard, but he's the owner. He calls all the shots. You don't want to piss this guy off, you know. Burn. Burn. Hey, what's like incentive? If that's given me, that I'm gonna burn, but the alternative is I'm gonna have real enjoyment in this body, you know, because your church is not giving me the, you know, wonders of sensual enjoyment of youth. It's like, okay, I can either go to youth group or I can live it up. I only get one youth, you know, so let me take full advantage, you know, milk it while I can.
Yo-yo.
YOLO?
Yo-yo.
What's
you
that?
Only youth once.
You only youth once. Yeah. So, but then, you know, we're totally frustrated at the end of the day, and it's like, well, wait a minute, you know, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But only in Krishna consciousness do you receive this information. You know, that's what the demigods were speaking on today, is you're showing us directly that you are the all-youthful, you know, Nava Yovanam. You're the all-youthful person.
Yeah.
And if I connect with you, you know, it's like if I give my body to the cosmetic, I get the qualities of the cosmetic. If I give my mind to the movie, I get the qualities of that movie. You know, if I give my heart to this person, I get the qualities of their heart, you know, like that. If I give my life to God, I get the qualities of divinity, you know, and the quality, and Krishna is the highest manifestation of divinity, right? It means he has all of the qualities of the Godhead in full. And for those qualities, you know, there's a few of those qualities in particular that only the form of Krishna in Vrindavan has. And that he has many forms, many of the male personality of Godhead, you know, such as God the Father, you know, so on and so forth. There are many roles that he plays as the Supreme Soul to fulfill, as you know, as book was discussing, wherever you're at in your spiritual life, like he will reciprocate there. But if you come up to this platform of Krishna consciousness, there are qualities of Krishna that are all characterized by concentrated sweetness and bliss, because he is the youthful form. And so he alone will satisfy all of your desires to enjoy youthfulness.
Supreme.
Eternally. So that's the promise of Krishna consciousness. It's like, yeah, you're looking for enjoyment. You can try to get it here, but it's got so many problems attached to it. Yeah. In the end of your life, you'll realize that you've wasted your life.
Supreme personality of Godhead.
Yes.
Supreme. Okay.
And it's not our words. That was another point in there. They're saying real quick, Jake. Do you remember that point, Sammy? It was briefly mentioned, like the parampara.
Accepted here. Transcendental knowledge has to be accepted by the descending process of disciplic succession, as Brahma presents the knowledge of Krishna in the Brahma Samhita.
Yeah. And next sentence goes very nicely along with that. It's vijnana. So it's like these aren't just our own speculations. Again, yeah, that was the other point is, are you just speculating about God, or are you receiving some bona fide information from a spiritual authority, someone who has come from the spiritual world? So that is a position of Brahma. He was directly imparted realization of the personality of Godhead at the beginning of cosmic manifestation. And then he composed Brahma Samhita as well, where he describes position of Krishna, and he explains this vijnana, ajnana, vida amarjanam, this all-conquering scientific realized knowledge that there is a process. It's not just, take our word for it. When you leave your body, you'll see Krishna. No. That's not good enough, actually. As children of God, we have the ability to realize God here in these bodies. And so if you apply yourself to this, if you give your life to Krishna, he'll reciprocate with that. If you want to sit on the fence, then he'll reciprocate with that. Again, just like anything, the more that you give yourself to it, like you can give yourself to, different activities, and we see in this world, people become very expert at just the most like obscure things. It's like, what's the value of that? I don't know, but I'm really expert at it. It's like, okay, cool. Maybe you're contributing to society. Maybe you're just contributing to your own fantasy.
Kendama.
What?
Kendama.
What's that?
It's like a skill toy. People just dedicate thousands and thousands and thousands of hours to like doing tricks with this toy.
Yeah. But if you give your whole life to Krishna, then he'll give you the realization, like the actual mastery of the soul that is eternal. And it's ajnana vidakamarja, means it will actually smash all of the layers of doubt that we have in our consciousness about our existence. Actually, that's the position of God. He's not just going to leave you in the dark. He's going to directly reveal himself to your soul, to you, the deepest, most eternal aspect of you. And something that nobody can take that away from you. You won't be able to prove it because, again, it's vijnana. You have to realize it. So that's what the different is.
Yeah, man. That sounds fantastic.
Fantastic.
That sounds like yeah. I mean, let's wrap this up.
What?
I gotta wrap this up, so I gotta.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for blessing.
Yeah, I'll have to catch this episode later. Let's end this one real quick with the Maha Mantra. Everybody, those two beautiful people you have sitting on either side of you. All right, you guys go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare.
Jayo Shri Krishna. All right, guys, thank you so much. I apologize for having to do this one remotely, but thank you again. And Hare Krishna to our YouTubers. Please like, subscribe. Tell us we look like Hindu Christmas trees. Hare Krishna.